Hope Okorocha imbroglio in Imo State. That's what we'll be looking at today. For a better understanding, let's quickly give you a brief intro before I make my guest known to you. In the last 20 years, there has been agitation by individuals, geocultural groups, geopolitical zones, all clamoring for the restructuring of Nigeria. The various heads of state and government that had been in power over this period had not seen reasons to give the call serious consideration. The nearest they have done is either to call a national conference, as Jonathan did in 2014, or to establish a reconciliatory commission. There are three major reasons for this. Some people believe that there is no guarantee that such exercise will succeed in moving the nation forward, and that it may even be counterproductive or lead to unexpected consequences. Secondly, prior to 2015, the people who were calling for restructuring never gave a clear definition of what they meant by restructuring. Neither were they specific about the scope, modalities, or even the timing of such exercise. And thirdly, up till 2015, most of the calls for restructuring has been from individual and groups from the southern parts of Nigeria. That's especially the South-South zone. And then others from the north probably think that the agitation is because of South control on oil and all of that. And of recent, some have said Nigeria is being built with consideration of individuals and not institutions. And this is where Imo State comes into the topic of today. Instead of in developed climes where we have strong institutions, in Nigeria, what we have are strong individuals who, during their heydays, tend to want to take charge and probably dictate the pace of what they want the country to look like. It's Politics 107 on Darling 107.3 FM. And of course, my name is Zandas, Okeke. With me this morning is Prince Bob Njamanze, an elder statesman, a public opinion molder, and of course, a public commentator. You're welcome to the station, sir.
Thank you very much, Zander.
All right, it's been a while. I don't know if we've seen this year. Okay, yes, we've seen this year.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just say it's nice to see you one more time.
Thank you very much.
All right, quickly, let's go straight to the crux of the matter this morning. Let's get your views on this whole issue of restructuring on one hand. And just like I said at the intro, what is the problem with Nigeria?
Well, I think the major problem is that restructuring is misunderstood. We still have it in our heads, the fight, the civil war, Biafra, Nigerian conflict. And with us, it is as much as it is with the North. They seem to misunderstand restructuring and think that restructuring means creation of Biafra or excising the various areas and leaving them to be in total control of their resources. My idea of restructuring, we shared these ideas at the national conference, which I was a
part of, yeah.
If we restore merit in our system, we have started restructuring. A situation where someone in the north will gain admission in the university with 10%, and somebody in the south, or the areas as they are divided, with 60% does not qualify to go in. Then you come and have what you call federal character.
Yes.
In a place like the police, you now look into it and say, listen, you go and bring an imbecile and make him an AIG or DIG. A very accomplished young man from any other area is made to tag along with him. So when we talk about restructuring and people are thinking about making Imo, self-sufficient. It's not a bad idea. Eastern Nigeria, Western Nigeria, Northern Nigeria, they were all running on their own. And there was a federal government. We have still not gotten a federal government. You don't know whether we're operating a diarchy or a civilian administration. Because by and large, what we've had at the top had been people with military bias. The nearest we have come to a civilian rule was Yaradua, who even came from a military family. So, when some of these things are addressed, the agitation for restructuring will be far reduced. Now you come to the demand of people. We in the Southeast are still left with 5 states.
Yes.
In the conference, it was agreed that our number should be increased to 6, even if they were going to increase that of other people. But there was a way it was rational in such a way that every party was comfortable with the arrangement. But when we're now doing this, and we look at things from very myopic points, say for example, what is happening with the herdsmen. We are not looking at the herdsmen or the, what do you call them now? Herdsmen.
Or the Fulani.
Or the Fulani group. From what is happening to a people, we are looking at it from tribal sentiment. I listened to somebody like Gumi, I listened to somebody like Professor Audu. I was so disappointed. The issue is not that these people are Fulanis, and the issue is not that nobody is taking care of them, and then you want to accommodate them the same way the militants in Niger Delta are accommodated. No. They have had a culture. They've had a culture. It hasn't been the fault of the federal government. They've been like that, roaming the streets. If you want to restore them to making them human beings instead of human beasts, you go over and harness them and put them right, and don't blame us for who they are and what is happening to them.
Would restructuring have helped in this area you're talking about right now?
It is all restructuring. We need to do that. Restructuring we're thinking about from our political elite. You know, unfortunately, selfishness and greed has taken over our system. And so when they talk about restructuring, they are talking about who will be the next governor. How many commissioners you get from your own area. So
they are personal benefits.
Personal benefits
is what they are looking at.
They want local governments to be turned into state governments. Just the local government. They want to make them state governments so that where the chairmen will become governors and all of that. That's not actually restructuring. Let us be honest about it. Once we put it now, say for example, who is the chief security officer of the state?
The governor.
The governor. That shouldn't be. No, that shouldn't be. The governors became chief security officers of the state from when the military came in, and in security council meetings, you cannot have an army colonel or brigadier who is governor of a state sitting in a security council meeting and the commissioner of police becomes the chief security officer. So the army changed it to the governors being the chief security officers of the state. Now, unfortunately, there is welfare package that goes with that. There's welfare package, you know, what you call security vote.
Yeah.
It's been difficult for these for the Nigerian government to drop this and revert to a situation where the Commissioner of Police becomes the Chief Security Officer. So that if the kind of situation you had in Olu, for which everybody is putting the governor to task, if we had that, the Commissioner of Police will send the police mobile force. The police mobile force. That is what we call the mobile police.
Yes.
They are an immediate attack force for situations of that nature in a civil administration. But what the governor had in his hand, and you don't blame him, he was overwhelmed.
And he had to...
He had to resort to his executive powers drawn from presidency. That is executive. He's a representative of the president in the state.
States, yeah.
If he didn't do what he did, then if the thing snowballed, the entire Imo State would have been engulfed in crisis. So all he had to do was make the best use of his own consideration at the point in time and nip something that would have snowballed into a situation where, in fact, Imo would have been declared a state of emergency. So these things we must try to avoid them. I watched on television, I saw some people politicizing that action. Look, I don't mind surgical operations without anesthetics, if it will save life.
Yeah.
I don't like the sentiment of, why did you do? You see, good thing it happened to Olu. If it happened in Owerri
or
Okigwe, now it will be said that the governor does not like Okigwe people or does not like Owerri people, or was taking it out on them. In fact, they reduced it, in fact, to not even to sections now. I watched one House member, Federal House of a young man I like, He was talking about his almost his family, not talking about
the community.
And virtually shedding, I don't want to use the word crocodile, because in politics, they shed crocodile tears.
Okay.
He was trying to farm the sentiment of the people, not relative to the issue on ground, but based on their political sentiments and divide. Now, each area must try to avoid such a situation. And that takes me back to the impending conflict that's been brewing. And I happen to be at the center of mediating. I've been telling government, look, get into understanding with your Owerri people over a few things that have been in conflict with other administrations. But when they get into that position of power, they get so affected.
Maybe they are inundated with too many information.
Not necessarily. The affectation they have and the sycophancy of the people around does not leave room for rational thinking. Now, we talk about what is happening. You talked about Imbroga in the state.
Yes, because yes. Some people have said if Nigeria was properly structured, we wouldn't have seen the situation where a former governor, now senator, having issues with a former senator, now governor. But because we've built people instead of institutions, that's why this conflict is brewing.
I don't think so. It has to do with character. It has to do with character. You see, I'm happy what is happening between Okorocha and Uzodimma is happening.
Why?
And I expect people, even those in authority, to learn. All through the period Okorocha was governor. In fact, he made it clear that he does not respect protocol. He has no room for law and order. But I am happy he is now the one shouting for law and order. I watched him ask the people who came to take over this Spring Hotel or whatever you call
the
it.
Royal Palm.
Royal Palm Hotel or whatever. See, where is the court order? You have any paper? Where was the court order? In Ekuku, Owerri, there was a standing order of court stopping government or any other person from tampering with that market. But he was full of power. He took the commissioner of police, who had no alternative, because this is the chief security officer. And they went there and killed a 14-year-old boy, and everybody is quiet about it. And he comes back again to tell us about 1,000-bed hospital that was destroyed by Korocha, by Ozodimma. Who is in Imo State that did not drive through Douglas Road since it's been opened? Because he closed Douglas Road for almost 2 years because of people like me who would come out and speak out. And Douglas Road became a dumping ground. We only were waiting for incinerator so that we know we've concluded it as a place for
refuse.
For refuse. And there he is now shouting. Look at Ima Ihanacho's house. He almost castrated Ima Ihanacho, Captain Ihanacho. Went over, he was still there, and they broke down Ihanacho's house. Look at the Imaodo's own at the Mori end. It was bulldozed. You see, when you do some of these things, you look back and say, suppose this happened to me. Look, I watched this palm. I never knew the place was like that. And that thing was built on a watershed, Otamiri watershed. There's an Otamiri layout there. But that watershed is supposed to be a green veg to facilitate the flow. Don't forget, this water comes from underground of water to service the state. And because you're governor, you move in there. Go and even look at that estate. That's why Okorocha can come up and tell us that he's richer than Imo State. Why not? He is. But you ask yourself, where did all this money come from? You're telling us this one is your wife's property. Oh, your wife, by being first lady for 8 years. Look, man, I should be a lady and get a man to marry me. Was able to do that type of estate from public funds. Nobody has given us an account of a Paris Club refund. There hasn't been any proper account of the money that came to the various local governments. And a man could come over the air, make it viral. I am richer than Imo State.
All right, we'll hold your thoughts there. It's still Politics 107 on Dial 107.3 FM. We'll go for a commercial break in mere moments.
107.3 Darling FM.
The People's Radio.
107.3 Darling FM.
The People's Radio.
Please listen to this urgent announcement. To all block leaders, archbishops, bishops, general overseers, and general superintendents, His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodinma, the Executive Governor of Imo State, invites you specially to a crucial stakeholders meeting. Date Saturday, February 27th, 2021. Venue Ezimo's Palace, Mbari, former Arts and Culture Center. Time 11:30 a.m. prompt. Please kindly come robed in your clerical gown, cassock. Each block is expected to come with 10 bishops, please. Note that this meeting is strictly for the categories mentioned: block leaders, archbishops, bishops, general overseers, general superintendents, and no representation will be allowed. Signed, Reverend Eche Divine Eche, PhD, Chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria Can Imo State Chapter. For further information, contact 0803 544 8894. I'll take that again, 0803 544 8894. Another announcement here, and this time it's from the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It says the Ministry of Commerce and Industry have observed with pains that despite the earlier warning against street trading within Owerri municipality, traders are still constituting nuisance around the Rotibi Street, School Road, Ekonunwa, Christchurch, Tetlow Road, etc. Therefore, the ministry is asking the traders to immediately relocate on or before 5th of March 2021 to any market of their choice amongst the following: Relief Market, Imo International Market, Ebada, Ubomiri, Alaba International Market, Naze, Building Material Market, Naze, etc. Already, Imo International Market, Ebada, Ubomiri, and Alaba International Market have asked traders to move into their market free of charge for 6 months. All landlords who have converted their residential buildings to markets should immediately vacate these traders. Failure to comply will attract stringent measures from government. It is our resolve to ensure sanity and free flow of traffic in the municipality. Signed, Comrade Simon Ebebulem, Honorable Commissioner for Commerce and Industry. Okay, those are the two major announcements. We'll be right back right after this.
This is Politics 107.
The percentage of the registered voters ranging of age.
The authentic political show with Zandas, Okeke on radio.
In a country.
All right, we are back. Yes, and of course, if you just join us, it's Politics 107 on Dial 107.3 FM, and today we are taking a critical look at the call for restructuring and, of course, the Hope Rocha's imbroglio in Imo State, because some people have adduced that if the country was properly structured, we wouldn't be seeing such embarrassing situations. Okay, and my guest is Prince Bob Njamanze, who has given us his own idea of what restructure is all about, and we're looking at we have zeroed into the Hope Rocha's issues right here in Imo State. But quickly, because last week Sunday, when the whole issue played out at the Royal Spring or Royal Palm Hotel, Akachi Road, Imo State was kind of divided into two, for those for and against the two illustrious sons of the state. From your own perspective, as an elder statesman here now, would you say that the governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, is witch hunting former Governor Rochas and now Senator Rochas Okorocha?
No, I think it's far from it. You see, we must learn to obey rules and respect regulations. If perhaps Uzodinma came into office and dissolved the panel set up by Emeki Hedera and put his own panel in place, one could give room to imagine that the panel was set for a particular purpose. But I give him credit in the fact that he came in and adopted those panels as he saw them. If he did not respect continuing as part of government, not when it had to do with these panels and the duty they had to do. Anybody thinking that what Uzodinma did was witch hunting should go back and find. That takes me back to the white paper that is out.
Okay.
Government should subsidize that white paper. I hear that the price is outrageous. White papers are not supposed to be.
When you say subsidized, at what rate?
No, I wouldn't know. But you see,
okay.
I wouldn't know. But a pamphlet of that nature that is supposed to bring to the ordinary man the facts and issues of something that affects the generality of people. Government, when they talk about restructuring, it takes me back to that. When government was government, white paper was almost free. But we are now looking at everything as you said IGR, internal generated revenue, everything. You go and close the road, you say IGR. No, we must give room for service to people. Now, when you look at that white paper and see their comment on Spiback, which is the outrageous acquisition by Rochas Okorocha for his personal residence. They said the area there that he acquired was indigenous. And so if the people who sent in their petitions were aggrieved, they should go to court.
Yes.
They could have offhandedly, looking at things and knowing that these people were crying, they were shedding blood, not tears, they would have also taken over that property. If perhaps somebody like me or you that look at it and look at the people who have been displaced, will take it. But there's a rational judicial panel looking at issues from point of law. Now, this other one is a watershed. You see what they have done? I hear they are negotiating with one of these Rochas new agents to give them paper converting that place for indigenous acquisition. And that's why Rochas set up this is puppets as traditional rulers in Owerri. We've always had 5 villages in Owerri. And 5 villages in Owerri. We've always had
Owerenchi,
and we've always had our village heads who more or less are the aces of their various villages. And then you come into a village. I've told the present administration, that is one thing, if it's not resolved, that is going to create a lot of problem for them. Because now, like the Kuku market thing is raging.
Yeah, but they are building some new shops there.
Yeah, they are building new shops there because the Owerri people want that market developed. They have no objection to it, but they are saying, you don't get into our place without a basic understanding with us and take us for granted.
Okay, with the people of Owerri.
With the people of Owerri. Now, and you are thinking that you will make the same mistake that Rochas Okorocha made by perhaps parlaying with a group who will make you believe, erroneously too, that they are in control of the place. At the end of the day, when this whole thing blows up, a few of us elders in the place will be called. How come you were here when a goat delivered in tatters? That's why someone like me can shout out now. Because I wouldn't want a situation where my people are quailed like they were quailed in Olu. No, I wouldn't. Because the Olu people allowed that situation to go out of hand. And so the governor had no alternative than to do what he did. In our situation, he has an alternative. Dialogue with the people, agree, because both of you are agreeable as to the redevelopment In fact, the Owerri man is so happy with Uzodinma for redeveloping that
Market. Okay, but he needs to dialogue with.
But he needs to dialogue with him and reach an understanding.
Now, you see, I like this point you're bringing to the table now, because it goes back to our main focus, restructuring.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people in Nigeria see things from their tribal or ethnic perception.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And this is making governance more difficult. If we restructure, will it be possible to have this dialogue that will carry everybody along?
Oh, definitely, yes. Depending again on what you mean by restructuring.
Okay,
Is it by balkanization? Is it by division?
Or by merit, as
or
you
by
put
merit?
it.
You know, you bring up issues. I mean, you come to an establishment, you know the hierarchy. And everybody knows that by the next year or so, I'll be promoted to this, or by this year, I'll get to this. You just don't come here and then pick your gate man or your this thing and say, you're from my area. You now start heading the institution. And there's no organigram. So until we put this back into the heads of our people as a way to restructure, all these things we're talking about restructuring is neither here nor there.
All right, before we go straight to the phone lines, because the phone lines are buzzing seriously, still looking at the Hope Rochas issue, the Olu Political Consultative Assembly on Tuesday gave the former governor a 48 hours ultimatum to apologize to Hope Uzodinma, the governor, and the people of Imo State for whatever happened last week, Sunday. I don't know. What's your take on that? And,
if I was being objective,
yes,
I would tell you that that is not the way to go.
Okay.
But I'm not going to be objective in this because I have my own sentiments towards Rochas Okorocha.
Oh, okay.
That they gave him is in line and in sync with his own behavior and character. You must redress issues in line with the way the person involved will understand. You don't treat a wolf with velvety hands. You don't. So they know that their son, and they know why they have given him that authority. I mean that
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum. I'm not in a good position. I will be talking from a more civilized this thing, because I'm not going to have somebody in my own behave in the like manner. Look, Rochas Okorocha is a senator from that area by default. I've told my people, we have not grown to the point where we'll acquire AK-47 for the next election, so that when we choose the people that we want, and then they go there with their own listing and get announced. So someone like Mahmoud is still owing the Imo people. You see, this country is very, very, I don't know what to say about this country. You say, this is one thing we must resolve. Okorocha is finishing his tenure as a distinguished senator. I mean, his own distinguished, that is particularly distinguished. Not distinguished in the value and word of distinguished. No, he is earmarked as a senator by default. So what are we talking about?
Yeah, but that's part of the restructuring we're talking about.
Good.
Because there's flaws.
Yes,
flaws in the constitution,
yes.
or the
and then people are
electoral
saying
act.
that Uzodinma is treating a senator. Which senator? Uzodinma was senator for how many years? He never got into that place. In fact, if you don't forget, it was in this same station I was saying to you that my sentiment goes for the Owerri candidate for governorship. Because it has stayed too long in order. But if not for Uzodinma, Okorocha would have perpetuated himself in office and would have been in bondage for life. It's unfortunate because the people were so cowed down. But let me commend also the mass attack dog.
The SSA special
Exactly.
visit.
That young man did exactly what Uzodinma did in wrestling the power from Okorocha. But for him, Okorocha has taken over Imo State. We needed a madman like Okorocha to confront him the way they did. And let me commend the commissioner for
Police.
police. He behaved exactly like Lakano, who has been the best commissioner of police that has passed through this place. I mean, a man who could maintain a good relationship with Okorocha and maintain a good relationship with me is unique. Because he knew we were in conflict. Then the commissioner for lands is so seasoned in his explanations. I don't know why he wasn't made the commissioner, the attorney general.
Wow. That's Barrister
Eyina Honorable. And he stood his grounds. He's conversant with virtually every issue here. You see, let's talk about merit.
Merit.
Yes, let's talk about merit.
Okay, I think at this juncture we'll bring in the people. It's 0815-050-1073. That's the number to call. Remember the ground rules. Turn down the volume on your radio set. Go straight to the point. Do not insult the sensibilities of other callers. Everyone's opinion matters here. Hello, good morning. All right, Ambassador Ebenezer, go ahead. You have the floor. All right, go ahead. As a scapegoat. Nobody has praised him. Okay, Ambassador Ebenezer, thank you.
I refuse to make a comment.
Yeah, but nobody has praised him here. You need to listen properly, okay?
I refuse to make.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning, Zandas. Good morning, Dabok.
Good morning, and God bless you.
Chief Dr. Fidel Onyeneke, and I'm calling from Ngore here in Imo State.
Oh, Fidel, how is you?
No, not bad, sir. Honestly speaking, there is need for us to educate Nigerians, including our political leaders, for them to understand the real meaning of restructuring. Because people interpret it in various ways, and that is why, surprisingly too, those in government don't want to hear it. They think that restructuring means balkanizing the system and probably splitting their kingdom. It's not supposed to be so. We need political education so that people will appreciate the fact that this country will make a headway and it will be better for everybody if we restructure appropriately, even as enumerated by Ndabop there. Now, for a former governor to try to demystify the government by disobeying government orders fragrantly simply means that we want to give the impression that government is nothing and can be reduced to nothingness. White paper is a law, of course, constitutionally produced government decision, and government gives a directive since of a place, even if it is a personal place, you must follow due process. For you to make a force to destroy such a thing, to damage it, simply means that you don't have regard for the government. And what are you teaching the youth, the younger ones? It means that we have now gotten to a point that nobody will regard government as its decision, and it is unfortunate. Thank you, and God bless you. I'm Fidel Onyeneke.
All right,
thank you, Fidel. I'm not surprised. I mean, you're very proactive, and I think a lot of people should learn so they can also reason positively.
All right, let's take another call. The numbers are still the same. It's 0815-050-1073. Hello, good morning. Yes.
Hello.
Chief Awolowo? Go ahead, you have the floor.
God bless you. I want
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Awolowo. Nkwodede, is he? Nkwodede.
That all the neighboring illegally acquired the land, you need to be giving money from the dynasty of Okeke to be gotten back. No delay. We should be gotten back, and we are giving. We cannot understand a very testing nation. This case is for Igbo people to go and for culture to stop from any copy. Any sitting governor, incoming governor. Enough of this, you are a governor, then your families and friends will take the whole land of Igbo. I want to thank Dr. Okeke for listening very well in alone. And I've not been very happy with the system of leadership, but they have done well to carry this program along. And make sure that our property under research is right, is in law, is not okay, and brought back to Igbo people. We don't want that for you. All of us are happy with that. Move and bring back your property. We have the law. Because under Okeke, the whole thing is my family, my son, my in-laws, my in-laws. I'm an NPC stakeholder. I want to tell you that I'm happy with hope for the man. And we are praying for you to get back our land.
All right.
Family dynasty. Enough of this.
Oh.
The thing is in our law, I'm not supposed to make a case in any democratic system. Cases should go to the general border and fight any internal war, not to do the work of the police as a citizen. In our law, I condemn that.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Chief.
Chief Awolowo Nkwodede. Well, you're one of the contributors. I always listen to you, and you're quite objective too.
All right.
Talking about information, I've pleaded with government to subsidize the white paper, so that someone like you will be properly briefed on some of the decisions that were taken there. You know, because a lot of people are just saying things without getting to know what the true position is. Now, look, when we talk about our hotel, you know, we were told that Akachi was supposed to be a tourist center.
Yes.
Now, the truth of it has now emerged. It was supposed to be a tourist center, something built in there to attract people to that hotel.
Oh, okay.
You see the game plan. You build something like that. Nobody knew that such a thing was at the back there. And then you talk about Akachi. It's all fraud. It's nauseating. But one thing I like about the white paper and the order of court, there's an interim for future order of court, which has given Rochas Okorocha the opportunity
to go to court.
Not just to go to court, to come and prove his source for the acquisition of the declared property. And don't forget, before he became governor, he filled a code of conduct form in which he stated his worth. Even if he extended his worth in view of what he was going to do, he still has the opportunity to come and say, I've been being governor for 8 years. I was able to get this, get that. And then, you know, they put all this together. And then we also look at those who have been governors for 8 years. Go and see where Chikudenwa is staying. Well, see Hakim, who was governor for 4 years. And then you were governor for 8 years, and you were richer than the state.
All right, we'll hold your thoughts there once again. It's still Politics 107. We'll be right back in a moment.
107.3 Darling FM.
The People's Radio.
One expert don't In a country of more than 200 million people, 36 states, 774 local government areas, and a vibrant democracy, politics is the oil on the wheels. For concise, in-depth, accurate balance, unbiased, and professional analysis of politics as we know it, join Zandas Okeke on Politics 107 on Darling FM 107.3, Owerri on Fridays at 9 a.m. Politics 107 7 on Darling FM 107.3. Don't miss it.
All right, you're welcome back. It's the last lap of the edition this morning, but quickly let's take this text message. It says the sealed Okorocha's property, apart from being a green verge, used to be the farmland and yarn barn of Umoima village. Okorocha forcibly grabbed it from the hapless villagers and built what we have there now. There is an elastic limit, or if you like, an expiry date to everything. Chief Chidi Nkwokbara. That's a text message coming in.
Well, he dashed them. One, he picked up somebody from Ava, made him their traditional ruler, and then that encouraged him to think he had taken over Umoima. Okay. That's an unfortunate thing. So he's sitting somebody, a puppet there, for them in Umoima as a traditional ruler, who even adopted Uchemosu and made him an indigene from Umoima. In fact, I hope he did not replace Chidi Nkwokbara, because he's my cousin and he's from that village. Chidi who has just sent this.
Yeah, the message.
Yeah, the message. So I hope they did not use Uchemosu to replace him, since all of us have been replaced in our various homes. You know?
All right, let's take this call. Keep the calls coming. We can squeeze in one or two more calls before we call it a wrap this morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Ebola, Ekele Lamgi.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, the issue of restructuring. I think to our own personal thinking, Nigeria as a country has refused to be scientific in their political approach. Especially the non-farmers that feel that they are benefiting from the existing system. But let me tell you, nothing lasts forever. These non-farmers in authority, as the Bible mentioned, the military issue. Yes, uniform change of clothes cannot change your mentality. The same non-farmers are in political leadership, yet they are the poorest part of this country.
Exactly.
So one day they will ask for that restructuring.
Yeah.
The issue for the Okorocha and our governor, you see, having been Nigeria is an organized society, much as Okorocha is supposed to be in jail by now. This is an emperor that felt that he was above the law.
I said so.
And everything today is calling for the law. I'm sorry for him. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Sorry. I'm happy people are thinking out.
Okay.
Because a lot of people were being subjective, considering having political bias and all that. But we shouldn't be surprised. Even in America, where we say we take our this thing from, look at what happened at the Capitol. Because this is Democrats, this is
Trump and
Trump, whatever you call them, they just have to toe that line, even if they don't believe in what they were saying. But one thing I must say is, like I had an announcement you made here from the commerce.
Okay, is it the one for the traders?
Traders.
Yes.
Okay. Now, both the commerce commissioner and his transport commissioner, if they don't get together to put these things in order, they would be creating a situation where it will be impossible to give any credit to Uzodinma's administration. The problem we're having in the various cities now, Olu, Okigwe, and Owerri, is the indiscriminate market, whatever you call it, and then the transport,
chaotic transport situation.
They must be total. It's not by putting one signboard or one way. No, that does not help anybody. That's not the issue. Get these people, create orientation for them, create seminars. These new Okeke people you have.
All right, I think that's something we'll look at. Quickly, let's take some comments from our live streaming. Dealwet MC says, morning, Darling FM. It's your boy MC watching live from London. Ugonna Francis says, I weep for my state. That's Imo State. He went on for that to say, watching live from Lagos, I love Darling FM. Well, as we're here, we're the People's Radio. Bob, in 30 seconds, give us your last short of.
Well, my last listing here is I see Uzodimma in the same light I see Murtala Mohammed. They were all in the same field. I mean, Murtala Mohammed was all in the same field. But when he became a born again, he turned out to be the best governor we've had at the center. Jerry Rawlings made one statement. He said he cannot go wrong doing things for which he killed people. Now, Uzodimma is setting a standard, and I think after him and before him, there was none. But from him onwards, we're going to work with the other standard.
All right. I think that's a very good place to anchor. That's much we can take on this edition. To our guest, Prince Bob Njomanze, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, and God bless you.
I remain Zandas, Okeke, Otigba. Let's do it again next week, Friday. It's the People's Radio, Darling 107.3 FM.